Hello everyone, thanks for joining our webinar today. It's the next in our comparison series of NetSuite and Business Central. In this webinar, we'll be exploring these two leading solutions in more detail, more specifically how you can take control of your business spend with our eRequest solution. So the structure of today's webinar, we're going to go through a quick introduction to Nolan Business Solutions for anyone on the call who isn't familiar with us, and then go into our main topic, which is running through our eRequest solution and how it helps control your business spending. And finally, how to get started with your migration. If you have any questions throughout, please enter them into the chat and we'll try and answer them as we go. If we have any left over, we'll come back to you with an answer directly. So I'm going to introduce who's on the call with us today. We have Colin Smith, our Technical Director and Co-founder. Jason Zimmer, our Account Manager for our Dynamics GP base. Gary Hawksford for our Cloud Migration Specialist, and myself, Sam Power, the Marketing Executive here at Nolan. So a brief introduction to Nolan. We are the UK's only NetSuite and Business Central partner, so we feel we're in a position to give impartial insights into both systems. We're founded in 1988, so we're a trusted ERP advisor, the last 17 years of which we've been migrating businesses from on-premise systems, GP and other systems, to cloud-based ERP. We're an ISV, so we do solutions for NetSuite and Business Central and previously Dynamics GP. We have over 1,300 active customers worldwide, some of which that have implemented our finance systems and others who are using products such as eRequest. We have a lot of qualified technical resource throughout the team here at Nolan, those teams being support, development, consultancy, project management, and training. And we're also a Great Place to Work certified. Last year, we qualified for Best Workplace for Development, Women, and in Tech. And yeah, that's a bit about us. So now we will talk briefly about what both of these solutions include. So I'll pass you over to Jason.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. So yes, this is number 5 in our Business Central versus Oracle NetSuite in our discussions on both systems and how they compare. So just moving on to the next slide. So just to give you a recap of what we've discussed and what we've found out from the Business Central side, we found it works very well, obviously, with the 365 integration and everything Microsoft, which most business environments have. Its Copilot AI side is very useful. It can help in bank reconciliation, invoice matching, cash flow analysis, late payment prediction, as well as sales order creation and lots of other tasks. It's very user friendly. It's a interface that we are very similar with from other Microsoft products, and very easy to use, and it's a lower total cost of ownership than other solutions. So now NetSuite. So where NetSuite really comes into its own is it has one world consolidation, which allows you to consolidate other countries that you may have into your one finance system or one ERP system. It has the NetSuite Success, which allows you to get up and running very quickly and easy with pre-configured dashboards, KPIs, workflows, and helps business to go live a lot quicker. Also scales easily with business growth, supporting new markets and product lines. And it has the benefits of Oracle's AI as well. So now I'm going to hand over to Gary, who's going to talk to you around spend control in both NetSuite and Business Central.
Thanks, Jason. And so yeah, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the functionality that's available out of the box within Business Central and also Oracle, particularly on that sort of purchase to pay and requisition procedure. We'll talk a little bit about our eRequest product and what we've built, and we've enhanced that process in both of those applications. And then I'll pass over to Colin to provide a demonstration. So just go to the next slide. So as you can see, I've got a list of the various different functionality, and from looking at the screen, you'll see there's a lot of familiarity and similarity between both applications. Slight difference in terminology. So within Business Central, we talk about purchase quotes for the requisition part of that process, whereas in Oracle NetSuite, they talk about the purchase requisition module. Essentially, they're the same sort of thing. They're a record that you can create to state what you want to purchase, who you want to purchase it by, and then they can go forward for approval. The approval generally is line level approval out of the box. NetSuite has a suite flow workflow, which is easy to configure to take those approvals to other areas of your business. At Business Central, you'll do those other approval workflows through other means, Power Automate or other things which may require additional licensing. When purchase orders are created, you'll need an Essentials license within Business Central and a full license within Oracle NetSuite. NetSuite has a vendor, an employee center where you can go to see all of the approvals that you need to do and approve them from there. You can access a similar thing from dashboards within Business Central. And POs can be sent directly to the vendor from both of the applications via emails predominantly, or you can bring in EDI solutions. From a reporting point of view, the reporting, there's a slight difference within that does it. So within Business Central, it's mainly through Power BI and dashboards. So the screenshot you're seeing here is a typical sort of purchase approval dashboard, various different tiles highlighting what you need to approve. The list on the right hand side is showing you the sort of standard out of the box purchasing reports that you can run. They're fairly extensive. You also have the benefit of Power BI, which is the next screenshot. So these Power BI are apps that you can go and download, point them at your Business Central environment, and it brings a whole host of analysis from your purchasing area. With Oracle, it's very similar. Oracle has the benefit of safe searches and dashboards, and as Jason mentioned earlier, you can buy versions of Suite Success that are pre-configured to your industry or vertical. But you can easily create safe searches to analyze whatever data you want out of the system. You can create KPIs, charts. You can put those into portlets on your dashboard and make that all very visible through that particular part of the application. I'm just going to come on to the last bits now. Receipting, you can receipt obviously those purchase orders when the products have been delivered to the site where they're required, or the service has been delivered. Those can be partially done, and then once the invoices have come in, again you've got invoice approval routes within the applications and 2- and 3-way matching as well. So they're fairly extensive. So I want to talk now about those sort of scenarios where the requisition process expands beyond that finance team, and a solution is required to enhance experience for those users. So if you consider beyond the finance team, there are many companies out there, especially now with many home workers that may require to purchase either equipment or stuff to help them do their job. We have a number of not-for-profit organisations that we serve that have got volunteers, transient workers, again, all required to purchase things in order to do their roles effectively. Field personnel, maintenance people, or whatever that may be, that are out there again that require to buy stuff in order to do their day-to-day jobs, and various different remote projects. So they could be in offices, they could be maintenance costs in factories, they could be projects that are going on externally that people need to purchase resource for, marketing events and meetings, all sorts of different scenarios. The thing that's similar with these are the requesters, the budget holders. They're very rarely finance system users, and for that reason their interaction needs to be as easy to do and as accessible as possible. They often need flexible approval routes. They could be working across projects that are associated with different departments or line management. They'll need to be able to notify those that are required to approve through a tool that's used every day and easily, again, accessible. Approvers, when they get those requests through, will need to be able to see and gain visibility of their budgets to know whether that request is going to take them overspend or it's within budget. And then those remote users also need to be able to confirm the receipt of those products to site or those services that are delivered, and have all of that go back to the finance system, so that when invoices have come in and they've been approved and matched, that those payments can then be made to the supplier. And for that, we put together eRequest. And at this point, I'm now going to hand over to Colin, who's going to take you through eRequest and show you a little bit about how that solves some of those problems. Colin.
Great, thanks, Gary. So I'll just say, share my screen here. You can see eRequest. Great. Yeah, so eRequest is an app that Nolan Business Solutions has created, and we deliver it within our Nolan Cloud Services platform. So you'll see I'm logged into my Nolan Cloud Services platform here, and there's a number of different applications on that platform. So we use that platform for VAT submission, bank feeds, etc. And eRequest is the latest of the offerings, applications that is on that platform. If I click on the eRequest login, you'll see that I can get into eRequest from here. So it's completely hosted. And what does that mean? It means that you don't need to invest in any hardware or any IT equipment in order to run eRequest. It's available in any browser for you. As software as a service, it's upgraded centrally, so everyone's on the same version. And so there's no specific upgrade costs or anything like that to you either. One of the great things about eRequest is that not only is it available within the browser, but we've also created a Teams app to be able to run it. So if I just open my Teams at the bottom here, I'm now inside Teams. So you'll be familiar with this. There's the activities, the chat, the calendar, and this is the way I've got my Teams set up, that I've got everything down the left-hand side, which is where I work on a daily basis, my OneDrive, and I've added in eRequest as well. So eRequest just being a separate app within Teams. And it talks to the rest of Teams as well. So when something's happening, when I need to approve something, I'll get an activity notification here to tell me that there's something I need to do. So let's have a quick look at what eRequest is. So there's across the top, we've got requests, purchasing and invoicing, and those are the areas of a procurement system. You put a request on, it goes through purchasing within BC, and the invoice comes in and we can approve it. So end-to-end, eRequest manages that solution for you. Multi-company, so if you've got different companies within BC, or you can select which company you're working with across here as well. There's workflow within the system that'll take my open requests or requests that I'm working on. I can see the requests that I need to approve. So you'll see here, Sarah, Alex have sent me requests. I need to approve them. They're in my list there to approve. And I also have my completed requests, which is a history of requests I've put on in the past. So if I take this request just as an example, this request is in my people and culture area, and it's got a number of items that I need for a particular event. Because it's in my history, I don't need to enter that in again. If I'm setting up a workshop for August, you'll see this is my July one. If I'm setting up a workshop for August, I can go in here and just duplicate this request and set it up for August. So within the eRequest, there's a notion of forms. And in my dem set here, I've set up separate forms for different types of purchasing I might want to do. So events and marketing have a separate form because they might need to put in details about what the event is or who we're marketing to. Finance and legal, they'll want specific details on their requests. You see we've got research and equipment, stationery, etc., tech and IT. So by being able to set up forms inside eRequest, it means that we're able to tailor the system to suit exactly the way the users are purchasing. And although I've got a number of different forms on my dem set here, you would only allocate the forms to the people who are putting on those requests. So they would get a tailored view just for them. If I go and look at this request here, Finance 27, it's in draft mode. I haven't yet submitted it. I've put the request on, and it's for 3 different things. So I can drill down into the line and I can see details of what I'm buying. So for company code 300, budget code 31410, project housing, I'm looking for a COSEC submission, and I'm paying for legal fees here from my supplier, HW Fisher. Again, within these forms, you can move these fields around, you can change them, you can set up defaults or restrictions on who you can buy it from, what general ledger accounts you're using, etc. I've put in some extra details here about my COSEC reference and my actionable date and comments as well. And I've got 3 lines, so it's easy just on the left-hand side to scroll through those lines and have a look at this request. So having entered the request, I can initiate some workflow by submitting this request to an approver. So if I submit this request, it'll give me a list of approvers that will approve this request. So within the workflow, we set up this hierarchy. So in this case, for this demo, I'm just going to submit it to myself as the purchasing manager. It's been sent to me for approval, and you'll see up at activity at the top, if I click on activity, I've now got an activity saying approval for request is required. And I can see all the information on the left-hand side. I can go and have a look at the details on this request. I can have a look at any attachments which have been attached by the person who's entered the request. And if I'm happy with this, I can approve this request, assuming that I have the correct setup to approve it. So just by approving this request, it goes off and it creates a purchase order within Business Central. Let's go back to my eRequest. And I can now go to my completed requests. Here's my Finance 27. It's been approved, and I've got a purchase order number back. If I want to send that purchase order to the supplier now, I've got the button at the top here to send PO to the supplier. The PO has been emailed successfully. And if I just go and have a look at my Outlook, I can drag this purchase order onto here. Then you can see it. So here's the purchase order that has been created and emailed via Business Central to the supplier. So far, everything I've done within eRequest, I haven't needed a license for Business Central, which is great, because you can just set up users within eRequest. They don't also need to be licensed within Business Central. to have all that functionality. Once these services have been provided to me, I've got the feature up in the purchasing area to look at the POs. So there's my POs for these items. I can also tell the system that those items have been delivered or they have been done. So that's my HW Fisher. If I click on receive, what the system will now go and do is create a receipt within Business Central against that purchase order. So that, again, we can do that without even being a user inside Business Central. Finally, I'll just go back. If I am a user in Business Central, I can actually go by clicking on the PO, I can open up Business Central and see that purchase order. So here are the lines, and we can see quantity ordered, quantity received, quantity to invoice. So I can go into eRequest, go into Business Central, put the invoice on, and then within eRequest, I'll get a notification telling me that the invoice has been put on and it requires my approval, should it need to. The fact it's been approved within the requisition point might mean that you as a company don't need that secondary approval, but the facility is there to do it. Again, you don't need a login to BT to do it. And any attachments, invoice, attachments, the PDF of the invoice, etc., that you may have scanned and put against the invoice inside BC is available for you to see within eRequest as well. Right, so that's a quick run through of eRequest. I've been able to see through the Teams app your end-to-end purchase process. So thanks for your attention. I'll hand back now for the final part of the presentation.
So I'm going to summarize what we've gone through this morning from both Gary and Colin. With Business Central, has the integration with 365, Microsoft 365, and integration with the Power Platforms such as Power BI and Automate. With the NetSuite side, we have the Suite Flow for approvals and in-app reporting. And then Colin went through eRequest, which sits over both those systems and allows for requisition process through Microsoft Teams. Allows for also simplicity, the approval flexibility that can be managed by you, visibility of budget and commitment at approval stage, and receipting and invoice approval for non-finance users and users of license. You don't have to have BC licenses for those tasks. So how do we get started on using eRequest in a new ERP system, and how do we get a new ERP system implemented? So we've talked around two of the market leaders for several months now around Business Central and NetSuite, and we are still the only partner that offers both Business Central and NetSuite, to our knowledge, to the UK market. And we've been able to give you an impartial look on the two most popular systems. We have a large team of qualified consultants and developers on both the NetSuite and the Microsoft area, covering GP and Business Central. So we know Dynamics GP and how to migrate you successfully due to those years of experience. We can save time by having to deal with multiple partners, and we have a dedicated project management team which manage that process from end to end. So making things easy for you. So we would include 2 days free of charge pre-sales consultancy which allowed you for us to recommend which system and go through the software demos and give you an overall time and cost estimate for how long the project will take. We have discounts with both of the solutions of up to 40%, and we can offer trade-in on our Nolan products. Lots of you are already GP customers and have Nolan's products such as eRequest, so we would look at offering trade-ins on those products. So just before we finish, we can go through, I believe, Gary, we've had some questions. So I wonder if you could run through those, please, quickly.
Yep, indeed. Thanks, Jason. So got a couple of questions that have come in. First one is, how do we license eRequest?
Okay, so I can answer that. So eRequest is licensed either through a subscription through Nolan Cloud Services, or we can set up a per user charge, which will charge you. So there's a platform fee and then a per user charge per month on the product.
Excellent. One of the attendees currently use eRequest for Great Plains. So they've asked what kind of migration procedure is in place to move from that version of eRequest to one that they can use with BC or NetSuite.
So as you'll have seen, if you as a GP user, you'll be familiar with the users, the groups, the form structure, and we're able to migrate those structures from your GP across onto the new version for BC and NetSuite. The migration takes into account your current structures, although we do talk to you and change things. There's extra functionality that you might want to take up as part of that migration. So we'll talk to you about GL accounts, etc., as it goes across and migrate you.
Excellent. And two more questions. So can the product cope with a specific flagged project being allowed to make a purchase with a 0 VAT rating?
Okay, so the VAT codes are set up within Business Central, and eRequest uses the tax engine within Business Central to calculate the VAT. So from that perspective, yes, if it's set up within Business Central for exempt VAT or 0 VAT or even partial VAT, it'll work within eRequest.
Okay. And finally, can a specific workflow be triggered for extra information that might be required for customs clearance on purchase, particularly of international goods, so things like tariff codes or Incoterms, etc.?
So if the workflow, it might be something which we need to take offline and have a specific discussion about, but if the workflow is about who gets to see the request and who gets to authorize it, then yes, we can set up that workflow to go in different areas depending on the way the system's set up. So if you need it to go off to someone specifically in a sort of shipping department or sourcing department, you can do that through eRequest and set up those kind of workflows.
Okay, excellent. That's all we've got on our questions that have come in.
Brilliant.
So
Cool.
shall I pass over to you to Summer?
Great, thanks guys. So that brings our webinar to a close. So please keep an eye out for the next webinar topic, which we'll be sending out very soon. In the meantime, if there's anything you'd like to see us run through in more depth or think of any further questions after the webinar, please reach out to us using our contact information on the screen. Hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.